Hello and welcome back to the show. My name's Relevant. This is Do All of the Things. On today's episode, I'm going to try overclocking a little bit on my Sapphire 6950 XT Nitro Pure. Such a mouthful. It took me several takes to get it correct. Well, let's see what it can do. So for this exercise, I'm focusing mostly on Cyberpunk 2077. You see, this card is plenty good enough that most other games that I've been playing, I can pretty much max them out. Of course, that's taking ray tracing out of the equation. Cyberpunk, though, game I'm quite fond of, and a game that's very, very thirsty, very heavy, very taxing to your hardware. I got it with some most recent settings up to just the high 50 FPSs. I want to see if I can push it past 60. Should be able to do it because that's stock. I haven't OC'd this car at all, and it should have some headroom, especially underwater. So if we dabble in the graphics here, full screen, 5120, 1440, VSync is off. Over here in the graphics, it is a custom preset, texture quality high, DLSS and Fidelity FX. We're not using any of that here. Field of view 80, film grain off, chromatic aberration, depth of field, lens flare, and motion blur. I turn all that stuff off because they're effects that I don't like. I like the perspective of seeing the world through my own eyes, not through a cinema camera. So we have all this other stuff here, not 100% sure. Contact shadows is off, improved facial geometry, that's on, anti-stropy is 4. Shadow, mesh, medium, shadow, quality, medium. Cascaded shadows seems to be high. Cascaded shadow resolution is medium. Distant shadow, high. Volumetric fog, high, can go higher. Vetrumolic, yes, we'll go with that. Cloud quality, high, it can go higher. Dynamic decals, high, it can go higher. Screen space reflection qualities, high, it can go double higher. Subsurface scattering is high, maxed out. Ambient occlusion, that's on medium. Color precision, high. Mirror quality, medium. Level of detail, high. Ray tracing, off. So those are the settings I got dialed in here. Maybe they're not the most ideal. I think I started with a high preset or a medium preset. No, a high preset, and then I adjusted on things. But either way, let's see what number it's gonna spit out for the stock run. Well, oh, look at that, 60 FPS, 62, 63. Wait, is it still running a bit of an overclock from yesterday's video? 70s. It might be worth noticing I got, update 1.6 on here. Did we already accomplish our goal? Okay, so we're gonna put this stock into quotations because I didn't double check my card settings. We got a low of 30.24, an average of 61.81, a max of 83.02, frames rendered 3970. So that's what we're starting with. We should check on our overclock settings here. Oh, I had a 15% power limit boost here, bud. Okay, so I'm kind of used to the way the AMD software, when I did it with my Vegas, every time you reboot the system, it would go back to default, and before you started gaming, you'd have to go into here and load the profile. But it seems they don't do that anymore. So we'll put this back to default. Power target, 15% boost. We're gonna have to do another. Oh yeah, this is kind of what we're used to seeing before, 56, 57, high 58s. So, we're learning right away with these pretty good graphic settings that I feel that I have dialed in here. Certainly better than what I had on the Vega. Just boosting up that power target is all we need to hit the 60s. But even here, some of these numbers are looking decent. So with this particular stock run, we actually saw a low of 36.51. Oh, a little bit more. An average of 60.41. A high of 84.36. But only 3881 frames rendered. Huh. I gotta bring my metrics overlay into frame here. Maybe put it on the opposing side right here. Wow, you jumpy, bud. Okay, yeah, you just hang out right there, bud. So I gotta run that benchmark again just to sanity check these results. Now that I have this metrics overlay, I can watch the GPU power up in the corner. Yeah, it's staying around the 300 watt range right now. And 2500 megahertz. So I guess we're not seeing a huge, yeah, that's generally stock. And we did see the 50s here. And then we see a boost to the 70s as we go through here because there's not much going on. And then we should see a dip back down when we get out here. Yeah, back down into the 50s near the end. So just to compare stock run 2 to stock run 1, 30.93, so that went back down. 60.07, so okay. This says it got to 145 too. I find that hard to believe. 38.54, or is that a 9? I can never tell. Frames rendered. So, before I continue, this card apparently has a BIOS switch that boosts it, and that is something I have not yet tried. I heard about it, but I never actually tried it. Not exactly gonna bring you along for the ride because it's just, you know, it's small and stupid over here. Where's this switch? 3-position slider near the front. One of them is software. I think center is supposed to be the boost version. Let's see what difference that makes. Okay, so right off the bat, we see it does make a difference. If you turn your eyes to the right, our clock speed is in the more 2600 range and our power target is in the 320s. So far, we aren't seeing an FPS uplift that is immediately noticeable. It's almost like, are we just spinning our tires, but are we just burning more power for nothing? So our BIOS boost results, low is 30.32. Okay, nothing spectacular there. Our average 6107. So like that's our important number there. Up 1 FPS, but you know, still lower than the power target boost. Our max, 80.73. That went down lower, but our frames rendered, 3923. That's significant because the more frames you render, well, it's a timed benchmark. So that actually can give you a better idea of the results than some of these other numbers. Okay, so meat and potatoes here, bud. Oh, bear in mind, I'm gonna lose my screen capture if the computer crashes. So let's try to tread carefully here. What do we got here? Undervolt GPU. Okay, what's that gonna do? So, FPS is still looking about the same. Our power and our megahertz have dropped back down. Well, you know, that's good for efficiency and longevity. Like, I guess in a pro application. Like, if I wasn't playing like wicked high-end games, just like maybe some older games there, and then, you know, of course I do my editing, maybe that might be a good deal just to calm things down a bit. Though our wattage isn't going down by much, so it's like it bumped it back to stock. Now the question is, would we see different results in the stock BIOS? Is the boosted BIOS competing with the undervolt right now? I don't know. I'm not gonna bother testing that. So undervolt or under V, I'm sure some Cyberpunk fans would like that idea. We got a low of 35.62, so it went up, but you see this is kind of swinging around. The low, I think, is a roll of the dice. Our average 60.87, not seeing results here. And our high 83.22. Frames rendered 39.10, so I'm gonna say generally it's better than stock. So let's just click the overclock GPU button. See what that does. 2702 it says. Is that what we're capable of? I wouldn't mind seeing that in game. So we're seeing back up to the 26s, high 2600, power targets back up into the 320 watt range. Still not seeing those FPSs. That's my goal. I want to see that not dip below 60, but we're not there yet. So our automatic OC results, a low of 34.81, 30 poor, again, rolling the dice. Jump to our max, 84.96. Okay, that's funny. Our average, the big number, 64.22. Okay, finally, we're seeing some gains. So I guess if you want a cheap, quick, and dirty overclock, it is worth just clicking that button. Frames rendered, 39.67, which I do think beats out, not quite actually, based on our power target boost. We got a better average, but a little less frames rendered, so that's pretty good. So yeah, what else do we have? Overclock VRAM. Sure, why not? Now, one of the stupid things about this program is it doesn't seem to give us the ability to stack this. I can't overclock GP and overclock VR at the same time. It's like one or the other, but you can't have both. I guess maybe that's okay depending on the game or the application. Maybe some need more RAM speed and they'll benefit from that. Well, what does Cyberpunk have to say about it? FPSs. Locked at 59. I haven't seen it hit 57 yet. That's a good sign. Clock speeds, high 25s hitting 26s. Our power target, 324. Oh yeah, so our boosted BIOS is already like the automatic overclock, but now we're getting the benefits of an automatic overclock and a megahertz boost. So we inadvertently stacked those two features. Usually I would see that FPS drop to 50, oh, there it goes, 57, 58. So auto VR, we got 31.22 low. So going back down there, a high of 83.66. Now, our average is hitting a middle ground of 62.12 and our frames rendered 3990. That's the highest number of frames rendered so far. Maybe there's something to this RAM overclock. All right, so what do we got here? It's telling us our RAM can do 2420. It told us our GPU could go 2700. Well, we got tuning presets here. Now, obviously, quiet is not going to be interesting to us. Balanced is probably bringing us back to where we were before. But what's this rage mode? Oh, rage mode. Again, starting off of the 50s. But the clock speed is saying, oh, in the 26s, very high 25s. Power back to the 320s. Memory 2238, so that went back down. All right, so rage mode. Our minimum says it went to 47.10. That's interesting. Is that a glitch? Our max 81.71, so nothing spectacular there. Our average 61.24. So weird results in rage mode. Frames rendered 39.34, so we stayed in the 3900 frames rendered range. I guess that's progress. All right, so custom. VRAM, they told us we could do up to 2420 megahertz. There does not seem to be the ability to change voltages. A GPU told us that we could do a max frequency at 2700. Let's set that to 2705. Voltage won't go any higher than 1.2. Minimum frequency starts off at 500. Our power target. So let's get it back up there. I knew 15% kinda brought us to where we wanted to be. Now let's try it. Okay, so clock speeds. High 2600s. FPSs, I think I saw it drop to 57. Power up to 330 some. And our GPU memory is staying at 2406 megahertz. We're not quite getting our 2420. Should have paid attention to that during the GPU, the memory overclock test. We are seeing our megahertz stay up there though. They did not dip down into the 25s. We got fans spinning up a bit, sounds like the power supply. It's funny, you know your system so well, you know which fan is spinning up. Oh, we're seeing the FPS dip down there. How about no? Okay, so with debatably some of the best results we're seeing so far. Our low was 35.15, okay. We don't even see that number hop up there. That's probably just like the first split second it's loading. Our high went to 85.18. Oh, a little bit better. Our average, 63.17, so not the best average number we've seen so far. Here's where it gets interesting. Frames rendered 4058, which tells us that this overall has been the best run so far. All right, bud, what are you gonna do for us here? What are you gonna do for us? So this didn't quite give us, it's like, we told it to do 2420, but it gave us 24 something, not that. Let's go up to 2440, just to see. And now what happens if we set minimum frequency also up here? Just to be like, yo, bud, just keep those numbers pumped up. Oh, look at that, idle 2750. Wait, I accidentally set the max frequency to 2805. When did that happen? Okay, let's just roll with it. Now what sucks is we're burning 120 watts of juice sitting idle right now, so not exactly practical outside a game. I guess let's see what that does. Now this run might be a just slight bust because I didn't think to bump up my power target. Oh, 63, 62, okay. Our GPU is staying solidly in the 27s now. Our GPU memory did go up to the oh, there's artifacting. Oh, she's glitching, bud. Now, is that the RAM? Oh, she's stalled. Let's see if we can recover from this disaster. So, control delete does nothing. There's like, is it control shift Windows B? No, we done Frig'der, bud. We done Frig'der. Which means I will have lost this screen capture. Done Frig'der bot, Frig'der. So we're back to default. We got Mr. Furnut here, kicking back up. And I find we could bring this up at the same time. And unfortunately, we can't get our telemetry data, so our wattage. We gotta kind of look here. Power consumption, 325 watts right now. So let's hit back to custom here. Let's start with the memory. And let's get that memory back up to 2420. Apply. Okay, so far so good. FPS, this is 66. You can't see it, but I can. Let's try 2446. Now we're up to 2434. Okay, that's good. How high is this gonna go before it starts glitching? 2452, 2476. Doesn't seem to be making a huge difference here. Our FPS isn't improving. Actually, did our FPS drop? Let's just go right to 2500 and see what happens. Okay, our FPS has dropped down to the 50s, even though we're overclocking our RAM. So that's one weird thing you can see happen. Even though it looks like it's stable, like something's error correcting in the background. You're not actually getting better performance. So we gotta start bringing this back down. Let's go back down to 2440, 65, 64 FPS reported by Furmark. Let's put this slider to 2420, still 64, 65 megahertz. So we'll keep our clock speed at 2400 megahertz. Now let's start messing with this. So we're at 326 power target. Let's bring that up 10%, see what happens. 349. FPS went up to 65, FPS went up marginally. Let's go 15%, 360. FPSs did jump 66, 68. What's 20%? Oh, 20% is max. Okay. Just frickin' cracker, bud. 375 watts. And it automatically scaled up to 2600 megahertz. FPS 66, 68 still. All right. So now let's start messing with this pupper right here. Advanced control. So max frequency says 2624 right now. Just apply those changes generally. Not seeing a change. Now it told us we could go right to 2700 in the automatic overclock. There's 2705. Our FPS is hit is 67, 69 now. 380 watts. I want to see this number actually hit 27. 2742, apply. There, 27. I saw screen blinking. Oh, we're dropping down to 49 FPSs. Okay, if you don't like it, bud, bring it down a touch. No, bring it down a touch more. Oh, 2705. Okay, we're glitching, but we're not out of the crapper yet. Okay, so she's freaking out, bud. And it's like, I feel like I can recover this. Maybe I just took the overlay off the main screen and it started to recover. We're down to 2664 here. FPS down to the 60s, so she ain't happy. 350, our power target's dropped. Okay, well, 2653. Blinking again. Our temps seem okay. Why do I feel like this has to do with the RAM? I'm gonna bring the RAM speed down, 2404. Oh, it's stabilized. How about 2410? I would like to see that just kind of hit over 24. 2412. Now mind you, this guy dumped out here again. So we'll bring that back up to 2700. We're still not getting our good FPSs. Still not seeing the numbers we want to see. Oh, look at this chart down here. Okay, we back to normal now. Yes, except this isn't hitting 27. Our FPSs are a little bit back up. So now with a slightly slower RAM speed, let's try to bring this back up again here a bit. 2724. Come on, I want to pump those numbers up. 2761. There we go. We're in the 27s now. Our FPS 69. All right, at the risk of freaking crashing it all down, 2807. Oh, artifacting. Little glitches. 2770. Stabilized. Breaking 27. FPSs aren't looking spectacular. Yeah, sometimes if you crank her up a little bit too much, it's kind of like, What happens now if, okay, let's get this number back to 2700. There, 2714. Now let us bring the voltage down a bit. We'll go 1175. Okay. What about the 1150 number that's so popular? Let me show you something here real quick. It's if you blink, you miss it. Like right here, we have fine print, an FPS number. So we had that up to almost 70 before. That's kind of what we're trying to head here. Hold on here. It still says voltage is 1200. Okay, well, I guess this does nothing. I'm gonna try bringing the RAM back down a bit. We're watching carefully that number in the corner. 69, 68, 69, 67, 2410, 2396. So if we bring down our power target now, just to say we're gonna clean things up a bit. Oh, we notice our megahertz go down. So this is holding our megahertz up there. Yeah, we need that power target crank to be able to hit our numbers here. 67, 69. Okay, I'm gonna slowly bring the RAM back up. 2402, 68, 69 on the FPS counter. Megahertz dropped. Why are you friggin' around, bud? You get that up to 27, you leave it at 27, bud. I'm gonna save this profile. We're gonna say a bit faster because that seems to be realistically what it is. Okay, so with this newfound glory, what does Cyberpunk have to say about it? I'm pretty sure the water is pre-tempt, so. Run benchmark. Will we stay above those 60s, sir? So what do the numbers say? Oh, 50. No, we're still in the 50s. Come on, bud. Now, mind you, our GPU clock is staying firmly in the 27s, and our power target isn't breaking much past 320. Our GPU clock, or our memory clock, staying in the 24. So I guess, you know, I think we've hit max power target, which makes me think, you know, freaking Furmark is a power virus. It is worst case scenario. Whereas a game's more dynamic. There's a possibility we can maybe bring up that clock speed a little bit more in an actual game. Ugh. So what do the results have to say? The results have to say, we're gonna call this fast fur because it's the fastest we could get it in fur renderer. Our minimum, 35.31, so pretty much staying there. Our max this time says it went to 90.84. So we're having a little bit more peaks, but our average went down to 61.52. We don't want that, especially, we only got 39.52 frames rendered. So our first custom tuning here, which I don't even freaking remember what those settings are already, gave us slightly better results, at least in a one run scenario. So here's what we're gonna do. We did not hit anywhere near a max power target. We're gonna leave the RAM alone. We're gonna bust this frequency up. How about 2835? See, because like, again, the game doesn't seem to hit as hard. All right, punch it. Oh no. So our GPU clock punched it up to 2799, almost 28, but the system's locked up. Now, if I remember what number I hit, this is where Overclocking gets fun. We get the crashies, and it takes longer to play all the game splash screens than it does for the system to boot. So it's like, Okay, so let us look back into here because it's obviously reset on us. Let us load the profile. There it is, our fastest stable profile. Yeah, we were at 2761 just to get this pupper to go, you know. Are you gonna finish your sentence? No. So here's the thing. There is the aspect of CPU, even though I don't feel like we're bottlenecked per se. You know, the fact that the CPU usage looks low doesn't necessarily mean it is. You could have a situation where it's like whacking a couple cores real hard, but because you have 16 frickin' cores, 32 threads, it doesn't actually show as high. But if we get those IPCs up, so surely I must overclock this thing before. The 3950, it says I got it to 3250 all cores. Let's see what that looks like. I got my 3800X to 4.4 all cores. This guy only got it to 3250 all cores. Our RAM's already as good as it's getting for me. CPU V-core looks to be an offset. Okay, well, whatever. Apply these settings, sir. That should force us, because it's gonna dip lower than that. It likes to dip down to the 4.0, 4.1 in a game. So, for what it's worth, I do believe my system is max overclocked right now, at least max what it's gonna do. But then, admittedly, overclocking's not something I've ever been so super terribly good at. Basically just tinkering around in the stock utilities like that is the best I can do. All right, well, let's see what that bit faster plus CPU overclock. 6160. These numbers are looking a bit promising. Overlay, 2721, 330. We're getting a little bit more power target. Maybe we were CPU bottlenecked, bud. And it's funny because that's 4.2 all cores under artificial torture test, much like Firmark using Prime 95. Oh, look at that. Those numbers are better up in the corner there. Oh, hey, buddy. So fast plus CPU, our low went up to 46.30, our high 83.78, our average 64.07, which brings us back. Didn't we have 60? We got 64 on auto OC, but here's what's significant: 4116 frames rendered. So that's the best run so far. And that's where I'm gonna call it good, because I feel like any further than this, I'm beating a dead horse. Just kind of wanted to see what I could get this thing to do real quick for you guys, for me guys. Yes, because I'm more than one guys. Anyway, and of course, that's with the on-screen display. And of course, that's with OBS running in the background. Oh, them some banging tunes, bud. You see, because now it's like almost what's the actual experience like? That's what I'm gonna do now. Now I'm leaving off somewhere over in here because, like, you know, I've finished this game already. What is this? Oh yeah, look at that. There are some more gigs, bud. Let's head over to this side job here. Where's my car? Oh, there it is. Do I even remember how to play this game? And I got the freaking on-screen display just like in my face. I'm getting 70 FPS here, bud. This is one of the best cars in the game, I swear. Oh no, I was paying attention to my OSD. Oh, we're dipping down to the 50s, bud, but it still feels good. It feels good, it looks good. It's so nice without that Fidelity FX making it all funny. I'm sure there's like certain something. I can turn it down just to bring it where we need it to be. So we're staying at 320-ish watts. We're not really getting the most out of our power target, but at least we're staying over 2700 megahertz. This car is great because it actually turns when you turn. It actually stops when you stop. Oh boy. Hey, watch this. Oh look, it turned. It didn't spin out, bud. What a novel idea. Why aren't all the cars in this game like that? Wait. Oh wait, there's a police thing over there. I'm just gonna smash this up a little bit. BRB. All right, buds, what do we got here? Oh yeah, I got the, I don't remember how to play this game. I'm pretty sure I can punch all these people out with my wicked, Oh boy, I'm starting to take a hit here. Okay, where's my actual firearms? There it is. Oh yeah, that's what my character looks like. Strangely like that chick from Orange is New Black once I gave her that haircut. All right, back on the road. That was smooth though. I didn't notice any stuttering or anything while I was in that firefight. And I haven't really played this game violently. I've done mostly like very sneak attacks. If I remembered where all my controls were, I could probably take some of those guys down remotely. So we're definitely above 60 FPS. It's like when we were driving, we saw a drop down. That might be because we have to like, you know, it has to process all the changes in scenery. 70 FPS, feels smooth, no screen tearing. What's this guy's face look like? I'm trying to look at your face. I'm trying to see the details. Definitely better than Fidelity FX.
El Cap tells me you're running a jump. Could use some help.
I'd like to, borrow a company truck.
You want to rob your employer?
Well, yes, but not so loud, please.
Oh, I'll go for a little drive here. Oh, hey. I get to use my real gun here? Where the frick? What gun am I using? I don't even understand. Oh, there's my frickin'. How are we looking here? Still staying above the 60s. Oh, except I died. Well, buds, I don't know what to tell you. I could sit here and freaking wake off, play this game for a couple hours now, and, well, for a couple hours now. Past tense in a future tense statement. That's what you're here for, the entertainment. The gaming experience is above 60 FPS. I'm calling this a win. And in fact, this compared to the actual benchmark almost makes me wonder if I needed to crank everything up the way I did anyway. But hey, we do it because we can. And looking at these statistics real quick, just looking around here, 65, 64 FPS, 2700 megahertz, 344 watts. VRAM, just under 8 gigs. GPU mem clock staying at 2400. RAM, 10 gigs, which means a 16 gig system with an 8 gig card is still enough to run even the best game these days. 5120, 1440, 60 FPS with some pretty good graphic settings. Well, I think we're done here. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, stay tuned. I'm kind of done with this series involving the 6950 XT, but I got some other silly computer stuff I'm gonna do. Yeah. 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 Yeah.